What's cracking with you people? This is the Devious Wolf and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Dead Space. In the last one, we opened up the comm signal, let that Verizon communication plan finally shine through, and then we got promptly introduced to the interstellar version of a fender bender. And now we gotta go exchange our information. Let's go.
Isaac! Good, you made it inside. Listen, I just found the munitions log for the Valor. I don't think their presence here is a coincidence. They're not on reconnaissance and they're not on patrol. This ship is prepped for war. They're on a seek and destroy mission. Do you hear me?
Isaac, I've lost him again. No signal from Hammond's rig. Find the Singularity Core and get the hell out of there.
You ever notice in these situations, well, we are doing rather poorly on survival. We'll fix that. I mean, we spent the whole buttload on our new suit. I mean, look at all this space. And I think we have how many power nodes we have? I think I saw a second one in there. Yep. So let's open this up real quick. Get some energy. Is there one? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to upgrade our rig once again. Now, look at all this. We got this to upgrade, we got this to upgrade, and we got this to upgrade, as well as this. What I recommend we do is we put one node here, because we're going to want to get this air upgrade pretty soon, hopefully. You can do an upcoming part with just these two, but having this third one will help. At any rate, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you ever notice that in these stories like these, not exactly horror theme, but just stories where something big is happening. At any instance, well, that's just foreboding if I've seen one. Any instance of something new or something, what we would call it, conspiracy-esque going on. I mean, we just learned that the USM Valor was not simply out and about for the sake of being out and about. It was, as Hammond put it, it's prepped for war. That means that everybody on board was a soldier, and they were, what's the word I'm looking for here? They were a soldier, they were trained, and they had the munitions and the ordnance to attack, to go on an offensive if need be, a heavy offensive if need be. Which means that they were in this part of the sector already looking for something. What was that something and why? Questions to be asked, but every time...
Entering zero gravity.
Isaac, one of the Valor's weapons ripped open in the crash. Those green orbs you see are highly radioactive, and the Valor's airlock has sealed itself. You're going to have to throw those into space before you can get into the ship.
Okay, so we gotta get rid of these green orbs. Let me throw it out into space. Now before we do that, what you want to try to do to make this a little bit easier on yourself is try to get these orbs as close to this little thing here as you can. You have an oxygen supply, yes, but I recommend doing this just to make things a little bit easier. So we're gonna do that real quick. Actually, you know what? On second thought, this is hard mode. Let's just go ahead and make this a little bit more fun, shall we? Now, I'm going to do this right here, and this right here. So I want to save on ammo. But yeah, every time one of these conspiracy things comes on, anytime someone discovers the conspiracy or an inkling of the conspiracy, they get blocked, shot, or just sort of disappear before they can finish the actual statement. You ever notice that? I mean, legit, have you ever noticed that? especially with regards to these kind of things. At any rate, so now we got to do this,
Radioactive material removed.
and that's it. Now I think we have enemies to deal with here. That's what I thought. Go ahead and do that since these are regulars. We can just do this right here and that right there. Oh, usually that kills them. These guys are special. So yeah, let's go and get some air here. We have an air can. I recommend you save on that since you know you have these automatic refills, and we're more than likely going to need the air cans at a later date. Just because, I mean, if they're going to start a section off with you essentially needing air, you're probably going to have to use air recurrently in that section. That's my logic. That's just how I've always rationalized certain gameplay elements. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, people who find conspiracies usually end up dying or getting killed, dying, disappearing, or whatever before they can actually finish loading up the message.
Radioactive material removed.
The one thing that we don't know is why. I mean, seriously, think about that. They haven't said they're prepped for war. They're on a search and destroy mission. Why is that? I mean, legit, why is that? Never really tell us. At least I don't think they do. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, we just gotta figure it out. Okay, who's shooting at me?
Radioactive material removed.
You. Gotta love kids, don't you? And since we can pretty much one-shot these things, or one-shot their limbs at any rate, this next bit increasingly difficult. Now I think we got one more left, right? Yep, right up there. Oh, wait a minute. Before we do that, let's go ahead and refill on air, because if you run out of air, you die instantly. There's no, your health kit doesn't slowly decrease. You just die instantly because, well, you're gasping for air, and you need air to do pretty much a lot of stuff in terms of the organic body. I would say human body, but honestly, it's kind of default for the organic body in general.
Radiation hazard clear. Safety lock released.
Okay, was that it? Okay, safety lock is released. Okay, so now we gotta get into the Valor, right? Yeah, we're gonna head up into the Valor, which is up there. So I guess now what we're gonna try to do, or yes, we're now going to do, or more than likely what's going to happen on the ship is going to find out what they're trying to search and destroy. At least hopefully so. So let's see what happens. Might learn something new, because like legitimate. Well, that was interesting. But like legitimately, you really don't hear that much. At least I say you don't. I don't remember that much in the story. And I paid attention a lot, I did. I just don't remember that much.
The part you're looking for will be in the engine room at the back of the ship. I'm reading massive damage, so you may need to find an alternate route to get there.
Well, you can't move that. But yeah, and honestly, I think inside stories like this, the actual narrative, like what's going on, isn't all that important as much as it is the people surviving in it. Not liking that. If I had to assume, this is the escape pod that they opened. But yeah, so I just don't remember much of the story. I don't think they ever fully explain it that well. Either they don't fully explain it that well, or it's bare bones enough to where you where even if you put it together, you can come to multiple conclusions. At any rate, but this is more or less what I'm getting at. See, and honestly, this entire USM Valor thing feels like one of the biggest plot holes in the game.
The infection process is doing something strange to these soldiers. They all have built-in stasis units in their body armor. The infection is merging the stasis unit into their flesh or something, making them move fast. Real fast. Be careful.
Great. So now we have Twitchers. What's a Twitcher? Well, that thing we saw moving really fast, those are the soldiers who have had their stasis packs merged into their bodies. Now, how it is that merging causes them to get a little crazy and move faster, I don't know, since the whole point of stasis is that it makes things move ridiculously slow. But essentially how this works is that Twitchers move really fast. They can get up on you, they can strike real fast, and it's very, very likely that you won't get a chance to hit them. You won't get a chance to retaliate once they start attacking you. So you got to be careful with them. Here's the main thing. You can't freeze them with stasis. Now, I don't think they hit harder than the necromorphs that we've been dealing with to this point. I don't think so. But they definitely move faster, and you cannot slow them down. You just can't slow them down. Don't try to, you just be wasting stasis. Conversely, it makes it a little bit more difficult to handle them in the group, because if they get in front of you while you're trying to stasis an enemy behind them, they can take the brunt of that and effectively have you waste your stasis. The thing is, though, I don't think you have to deal with black versions of them. You like that right there? See, like that, they move really fast, but I think of a way to balance it out is that they're more fragile. Like, you can kill them much faster than usual. And now here's something I wanted to ask you guys a bit in terms of these infection-esque stories. Do you think zombie infections are overplayed? Oh, hello. Because at the time of this game's release, I believe shows like Zombieland and Walking Dead were really coming into their own foray. And before that, it was vampires and werewolves, which came to its head with the Twilight series. Not a story that we're going to get into now, but it's worth noting. What I want to know is...
Isaac, are you the call again?
Oh, okay. What I want to know is, how do you guys feel about the zombie form nowadays? Because my first introduction to zombies was Halo, the Flood. And the necromorphs remind me a lot of the Flood. Now, I don't think, like Halo, Dead Space ever had an expanded universe outside of movies. I don't think there were books. If there are books or comics, let me know, because Halo's had movies. It's had 2 movies. One technically starting off as a web series, but it was a movie. It was shot in such a way that when they poured it to a movie format, I don't know why I was missing that, it just flowed as one seamless movie.
Isaac, I'm tracking your position, but it doesn't look like I can reach you. This damn ship was nearly shared in half. I made it to the bridge. It's a mess here. These poor bastards didn't stand a chance. I'm going to override all door locks so you can get to the engine room. I'll try and catch up with you there.
Okay, thanks, Hammond. But yeah, what's the point I'm trying to make? We'll leave that blocked up. I don't think we need to move that for anything, do we? No, we don't. Okay. But yeah, because the thing about the Flood, the Expanding Universe, and I'm not going to go too far into this since, you know, this is Dead Space, not Halo. But the thing about the Flood is that when the Flood infected its host, it made a point that the Flood actually absorbed the memories of the host. That's how some Flood knew how to use guns and how to drive. They took the memories. Literally took the memories. But with the necromorphs, you get the idea that it's something more animalistic, more primitive. They don't think. That's what I'm getting at. They don't think. They don't. So we gotta go that way. So let's go this way first. They don't take memories. They just infect and kill. So here's my question in terms of the US and Valor. And this is why the Valor is one of the biggest plot points. That's why that's there. This is why the Valor is one of the biggest plot holes, in my opinion, of the Dead Space, of this game. We only sit in. Great. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yes, he did. Yep, he definitely did. Definitely did. So yeah, that answers my question. They don't make black versions of these things. They just make the regular ones because that guy was from here, I believe. Yeah, but we learned earlier in the game that there are two types of infections in terms of the necromorphs. We have the ones purely made to kill people. Twitchers, lurkers, the basic necromorphs, the howlers and whatnot. And then we have the ones designed to make infectants. Decide to make the combat forms. I'm going to use Halo forms. We have combat forms and infectant forms. My question is, Hammond very clearly locked one of the combat forms in here.
Mr. Clark, I need to speak with you. My name is Terrence Kyne, Dr. Kyne. Listen to me. There isn't much time. If you really can repair the shuttle, there is a better use for it than just running away. You must understand, the forces at work here are greater than you can imagine. If you leave now, you condemn all humanity. The planet will never stop, never rest unless the marker is returned. Don't you see? The church is wrong. This is all a trap. I've seen it. Please, you must help me.
Interesting. So that was Dr. Kyne. If you remember, the guy that killed the captain of the Ishimura. He's apparently still alive. And he wants us to return the marker. Something he was raving about earlier. But yeah, if you think about it, if Hammond only locked in, and we'll get back to Kyne in a minute here, but if Hammond only locked a combat form in that escape pod, how in the world did one combat form kill at least one of the troopers, I'm sure, but how did it kill and how did an infectant form get on the US and Valor? Something that's really bugged me for a while. But we'll figure it out next time. I've been the Devious Wolf, and I will catch you later.